Now, after understanding that Islam recognizes a woman's independent ownership of wealth, another question naturally arises. If a husband is responsible for providing financial support, does that make him the owner of his wife? This is a misunderstanding that needs to be addressed. Islam places the responsibility of nafaqah or financial maintenance upon the husband. He is responsible for providing for his wife and family. But this responsibility should never be misunderstood as ownership or domination. In fact, think about it carefully. What kind of owner cannot demand even a glass of water from his wife? What kind of owner has no right to take the money his wife earns? What kind of owner cannot claim the wealth she receives through her Mahr, inheritance, gifts, or lawful earnings? And what kind of owner cannot even take what belongs to her without her willing permission? These questions themselves reveal the answer. Financial responsibility does not mean absolute authority over another human being. Islam never teaches that because a husband spends on his wife, she loses her identity or her rights. On the contrary, the Quran had already established that whatever a woman earns belongs to her. Surah An-Nisa 4:32. That principle remains unchanged after marriage. Her earnings remain hers, her inheritance remains hers, her mahr remains hers, her gifts remain hers. If she chooses to spend her wealth on her family, that is an act of generosity, not an obligation. Unfortunately, many cultural practices have blurred this distinction. Sometimes people assume that once a husband provides for his wife, she should no longer have any financial independence. That is not the picture presented in these teachings. Islam gives each person responsibilities, but it also protects each person's rights. There is another point that deserves our attention. Sometimes husbands voluntarily place complete trust in their wives regarding financial matters. They may hand over their salary, asking their wives to manage the household expenses. Likewise, there are wives who willingly entrust their own earnings or financial resources to their husbands because their relationship is built on trust and mutual understanding. These are personal choices based on love and cooperation. They should never be confused with Islamic obligations. Islam does not teach that a woman must surrender ownership of her wealth simply because she is married, nor does it teach that a husband may demand what belongs to her. The distinction is extremely important. Rights remain rights, generosity remains generosity. The two should never be confused. Another beautiful aspect of Islam is that every individual is personally accountable before Allah. No husband will answer for his wife's faith. No wife will answer for her husband's deeds. Every believer will stand before Allah individually. That is why Islam encourages every Muslim to grow in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The teachings remind us that a believer should remain intelligent, aware of the world around them, and constantly seek beneficial knowledge. Learning should never stop. Marriage is not the end of personal growth. Having children is not the end of learning. Life itself is a continuous journey of seeking knowledge and improving oneself. Even if circumstances change, there should always be room to continue learning according to one's ability. Perhaps it is no longer possible to study every day, then study once a week. If that is difficult, continue learning whenever the opportunity arises. The important thing is never to lose the desire for knowledge. A Muslim should always have a purpose in life. Time should not simply disappear in distractions while dreams remain unfulfilled. Instead, strive to become someone whose character, knowledge, and contributions inspire others. Live in such a way that your life becomes beneficial to the people around you. This is a vision that encourages continuous growth, responsibility, and excellence while remaining within the guidance of Islam. And when financial independence is viewed through this lens, it is no longer about competing with others. It becomes a means of fulfilling responsibilities, preserving dignity, and using Allah's blessings in ways that benefit both ourselves and society. This understanding changes the entire conversation. Instead of asking whether Islam values women, we begin to see that Islam had already recognized their financial rights while also emphasizing responsibility, knowledge, and purpose.